What is up, my dashing dudes and darling dames? I am the Hans TV, and welcome back to the subreddit that covers the epitome of idiocy. It's r/StoriesAboutKevin. Our first post for the day comes from 4Note, Tech School Kevins. Kavina is unteachable. Here's a Kavina I had the misfortune of teaching. Every time I taught the class something new, Kavina would get this very puzzled look on her face. I'd asked her if she understood what I'd just said. She'd usually grudgingly say, "Yes, sir," and then have no clue what she was doing, so I'd have to explain it again. Oftentimes, I noticed it took around 3 explanations before she got it. At the end of her time there, she had to take part in this final exam where she would have to do a lot of things online and at her workstation. I took her aside privately and explained everything she'd have to do. And I even told her that there was a booklet in her folder where she could look any of this up if she forgot. Well, she forgot. A lot. She kept asking me where everything was and what she was supposed to do. I kept explaining it to her. It got so bad to where she was still working out which program she needed to use, as everyone else was producing work many times over. A good example would be like if everyone else was making a PowerPoint presentation, spreadsheets, and documents, but she was still trying to figure out what Microsoft Office even was, or how to get it on her computer. I told her I would no longer answer any questions she had about setting up her programs and to ask a neighbor. She took that as, "Don't speak to Sergeant 4Note about anything at all." So she got even more lost. She eventually got it together and passed, but just barely. After she graduated, she had some meetings to go to before she was sent to her base. She forgot where one was, so she went to ask her sergeant about it. He wasn't in the building. We were having a field day at the time, so pretty much the entire unit was at the sports complex on base, save for a small skeleton crew. They told her that the sergeant would meet her in the lobby of the gym. She got to the sports complex in time, but forgot where exactly she was supposed to meet with the sergeant. Rather than ask one of the hundreds of people around for some help, she proceeded to walk to the bleachers by the football field, sit down, and bawl her eyes out until someone noticed her. So yeah, this person graduated and is in the real world now. So I'm judging by the fact that it says sergeant and unit that this person is in the military. Therefore, this person got to choose their job. Why would they choose a job in something they know nothing about? I have no idea. This next post comes from Anna Branana, high school Kevin from my squad. Back when I was a freshman in high school, I had this small group of friends that our class calls as the Loser Squad. The Loser Squad is a unique group. There's 4 of us. Me, the only girl in the group, not smart but not stupid either. Kylo, the rich kid who ate street food for the first time at the age of 12. Brownie, the neckbeard in our group. Kent, the Kevin of our group. We'll just call him Kevin. The squad became a squad when we realized that we're the only weirdos in our class. A little side note. We were just a bunch of 11 to 12-year-olds back then. This isn't America, this is set in the Philippines, before the government added another 2 years of school. You graduate high school at the age of 16 and start high school at the age of 11 to 12. Now, to the list of the things my lovely Kevin did. On the first day of school, Kevin got lost. Now, we attended a private Catholic school, which includes preschool and elementary school. High school freshmen have their own separate building, which is right next to the church. There were huge signs on where you should go. Our homeroom teacher was already doing attendance when the elementary school's principal walked in with Kevin in tow. He mistook the elementary building for the freshman building, which was weird because the elementary school's uniform is a little different. Kids wear the normal white polo and brown pants. High school has a chocolate brown color, elementary has light brown pants. But the girls' uniform is different. Elementary students wear ribbons and the high school girls wear a necktie. It was so obvious. Kevin sat in a 6th grade classroom for an hour until the homeroom teacher walked in. That was only day 1. 1 month into school, and Kevin was a little normal, until science class. Our science teacher was a strict old teacher who's after my group because of Brownie and Kevin, and me because my cousin was her student. Science teacher was nice outside of class, and me and Kylo actually loved talking to her about science. Kevin's problem is that the class is too strict, and we were forced to seat away from each other, and they doesn't understand what ST was teaching. Now, even the worst student in class can get the topic. Heck, science teacher would sometimes even teach and tag along so that we can all get the lesson. Kevin could not, by the love of all that is good, understand the basics of physics and biology. It was also the first time Kevin had seen or touched a cork, and claimed out loud that corks are not real. Like, dude, we have a ton of cork boards in every floor of the building for clubs and announcements. He didn't bring his own lunch during our field trip. No packed lunch at all. Our homeroom teacher had to give him our own lunch so that he could eat. And yes, we asked him why he didn't bring his own lunch. He said that he thought the school would provide it when we were given a list of things to bring. Yes, we were always given lists of things to bring 2 weeks before our field trip started. It helps, honestly, but it didn't help Kevin. Lunch and extra pair of clothes is always on the top of the list, mind you. Kevin, despite his crap, is really good with computers. His highest grade in our computer class is in the 90s. But one day during our computer class, he brings an uncovered water bottle in the laboratory and claimed that the PCs won't be harmed if water ever spills. I don't know why he thought that. We just ignored him because we were busy with our finals. Then, next thing we know, his PC exploded or something. Our computer teacher had to turn the power off of the lab to avoid any fires or something. The cause? Kevin's water spilled and water got in the electric socket or something. He's the reason why no one is now allowed to bring any forms of liquid in the computer lab. Kevin and Brownie caused our classroom a shortage of whiteboard ink. This happened when I missed school for 2 weeks. Chickenpox. Now, Kylo and I are the main reason why Kevin and Brownie never really get into serious trouble. But unfortunately, Kylo and I had chickenpox at the same time. When we got back to class, Brownie and Kevin were suspended. We asked our class representative, and he told us that those two dum-dums found where our homeroom teacher put the ink for the markers. She hid them from them. They then had to debate on whether or not you can wash off ink stains on shirts. So they decided to put inks on their white polo shirts. White polo shirts. Those two ruined their uniform for something stupid. It happened during lunch and the other student in our classroom was apparently asleep. Kevin took food from the trash bin. He claims that the food was untouched. It was disgusting. He got lost on his way to school. We don't know how. We don't know why, but he got lost. He ended up in another city on his way to school. There's many more stories from this Kevin of mine from sophomore to senior year, but I don't have the time to post them in one post. And each year, he just keeps being more of a Kevin. Edit. Since the lunch thing might cause confusion, since my English isn't really that good, let me clarify. Kevin is a well-fed boy. He's always eating before class starts. He eats rice meals every lunch break with desserts, and me and the squad always go out for pizza after class. His mom will also give him some packed lunch when she has the time. His mom works in a call center and her schedule is always graveyard shift. Kevin just has this habit of taking or holding crap that's near him. The food, by the way, was on top of the bin, not inside it. Hope that clears things up. I swear to y'all, these Kevin stories are actually going to give me an aneurysm. Our final post for the day comes from Dongo666, the dumbest human I have ever had to deal with. I'm in the process of moving, so before I had to get references from the company I'm currently renting my apartment from, so I can give it to my future landlord so they will rent to me. The references are a .pdf file that I need sent to me the same day or I'll miss out on a really great apartment. I'd contacted them the day before and asked to be emailed the reference file so I could mail it to the new landlord I'm hoping to rent from. The email comes the next morning. Their guy says in the email that he has attached the .pdf file in the mail, except he had forgotten to. No attachments at all in that mail. So I call them up and after being in queue for 20 minutes, I get to talk to the dumbest human being I've ever dealt with. 3 things to keep in mind. It's 2020. She is a young person and works in an office. So, I tell her their guy forgot to attach the file to the email. She clickety-clacks on the keyboard and says, "No he didn't, forget. It's right there in the mail." So I open my Gmail in another browser just in case, and nope, no attachment. So then she says she will email it to me again. When her email comes, she had still not attached that PDF file to the email. Just sent it as a link, URL, which wouldn't have been a problem, except I need a username and password to access this file online. A username and a password that only employees of our company get. So I tell her this, so she emails the link to the file to me 6 more times. Now, I remember I needed this that same day, so I'm starting to get desperate. At one point, I lost it, and asked how can they run an office where no one knows how to attach a file to an email? I even offered to teach her over the phone. Click the button that says attach, but she was done with me. She sent an email to the original guy who had forgotten to attach the file and CC'd the email to me, and in it she wrote, "User, me, doesn't know how to open an attachment." Thank God their guy sent me another email, and this time remembered to send the file too. Since you specified that this lady was a young lady, how does she not know how to compose an email? Like, I'm pretty sure we're all taught that at some point. especially seeing that it wasn't an attachment, it was a URL. Like, how stupid is this person? Anyway, my dashing dudes and darling dames, that is going to do it for today's episode of r/StoriesAboutKevin. I hope you liked the stories, and if you did, I'm going to link them in the description as always. And if you liked the video, subscribe, share, drop a like, and a comment down below which you'd like to see me read next. A humongous thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I cannot thank y'all enough for what y'all are doing for this community, and I cannot thank y'all enough for giving me the drive to push out these videos. But with that being said, I will see you in the next video.